We back once again. It's your boys, no jobbers allowed, and as always, it's me, your boy Big Ish, and with me, like always, is
it's your guy Irwin.
How you fellas and ladies doing tonight? I don't know if it's night or day actually, but you never know when I'm gonna put this out after I edit it, so we just gonna roll with the punches. And we coming back with episode 4, and we're gonna do it a little bit differently. We're gonna do a little bit of a mashup. I know we promised y'all one solid podcast for Super Showdown, but we feel like we could give it all to you in one go, plus what happened after Super Showdown on this week's Raw and SmackDown.
Yep.
So, if Chris ain't got nothing else besides...
man,
what's up, man?
So here's my thing. It was a very busy weekend for just sports and entertainment in general. Did you see that Conor McGregor versus Khabib fight? I know we're not a UFC podcast. Did you happen to catch any of that or the backlash?
Bro, I know I said I wasn't going to watch it in the last podcast, but of course I seen a couple tweets about it, so I had to turn it on. And yes, I did. I did watch it.
Was
and
crazy.
I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it, bro.
I feel like so tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like they did like a classic wrestling angle. You had one guy who was very antagonistic leading up into it, and then Khabib went in the octagon and showed Conor what was what. And then, then he did the ultimate heel turn on the end, hopped out the octagon and tried to get his boys, and his other boys jumped in. It was like the NWO versus WCW back in the day. It was like DX versus the Nation of Domination. I really like the way that it played off.
Some people are actually disagreeing with that, and I can't believe it. Like, if you caught some of my tweets from that night, from Saturday night, you would have seen I said it looks just like one of those old school classic Raw endings where they cleared the locker room out.
Yes.
And you could have put JR's voice over that and couldn't tell you was watching the UFC.
I know it was good television, man. Good television. I do feel like Conor takes a little bit too far, with his trash talking, because he was, shitting on my man's religion, his family, all the way through the build up of this fight. And Conor didn't back up what he always says. So I know the Conor McGregor fans of the world are probably a little bit upset about that. Hopefully they don't suspend Khabib when we get a rematch. How do you feel about that?
My thing is, it wasn't even about the trash talk at first. Before we even talk about the trash talk, let's talk about what Conor actually did. People want to say, oh, well, Khabib slapped his boy, and that's why he threw the dolly at the bus. Like, bro, he almost blinded one of Khabib's friends. That my man had to get sight-saving surgery, dog. Like, it's on site. That's on site type of energy right there that Khabib showed. So UFC shouldn't suspend Khabib. You know why? Because they didn't suspend McGregor. If you almost blind a competitor outside of the octagon and you don't get suspended, my man, he didn't go attack a just innocent bystander, a regular civilian fan. He went after the people that was with Conor that night of the bus.
Thank you. You were saying exactly what I was thinking.
So let's quit acting like Khabib just went crazy, went after a civilian. He went after McGregor's team. And then
they were talking shit too. They were talking shit the whole time.
That's what you get, though. That if you disrespect a man to a point where
he can only take so much.
I'm just saying, like, UFC wasn't going to do anything about McGregor. Like, everyone said, oh, well, legally, McGregor got arrested, getting sued, blah, blah, blah. But what did the UFC do? If you go to work and your boss don't do anything about a coworker that may harm you outside of your job, okay, point blank period, I'm taking it in my own hands. You have to know there's consequences.
On site. That's the thing. So that's one of the things that I've been reading all the tweets. I've been I follow UFC pretty closely. And, Conor McGregor fans feel like this dude is untouchable. First of all, he talked all this shit. He did a criminal act. He still can't fight in the state of New York, by the way. But at the same time, what else would you expect? What else would you expect after you do all this, after you almost blind somebody? You have to get your comeuppance. And I think Conor thought he was untouchable. I don't know whoever's advising him to do all this stupid shit that he's doing. They thought he was untouchable. He didn't back up anything in the ring, and he got what was coming to him. I'm excited to see the fallout as far as that one goes.
Well, here's my thing. Like I said, the UFC could prevent all of this by simply suspending McGregor and then doing the fight at another time. If you suspended McGregor for the 6 months, that may have got cooler heads to prevail, but even then you gotta remember it was still Conor. He was gonna say some disrespect. He insinuated that this man father had a hand in 9/11, dog.
Yep. He was
like, you have to see me, and the people who was with you have to see me too.
It's on site, man.
Ain't no way around it.
Conor McGregor is so disrespectful, man. I don't see how he has fans. Like, even I used to be a Conor McGregor fan, but then he talked all that shit to Floyd Mayweather and got his ass beat. And then once he started talking all that racist shit, I just, I don't condone that, man. I condone the wit. I condone a great sense of humor. But when you take the lowest form or the lowest way out and you start disrespecting people right out and you don't back it up, I can't fuck with you with that one.
And it's not even the disrespect. It's how you disrespecting too.
Sure.
You're not just disrespecting Khabib as an athlete.
Dude, you respect him as a man.
Yeah, you wasn't just disrespecting Mayweather as an athlete. Like, you suck, bro. You ain't got nothing. You ain't good, blah, blah. However you want to do it, like, cause let's be honest, we have to look at ourselves. Oh, okay. Sometimes we let things slide or we laugh and get involved in things we know we shouldn't. But we all have a line. And I'm finding more and more other people are finding out Conor doesn't have a line.
Nothing.
And I'm like, that was okay when you could back it up. If you are Billy Badass and can talk what you want to talk and back it up, that's always been cool. Because who gonna check you?
Yeah.
But Conor has been getting checked. Or why is he thinking he can't get checked and continue the way he is? Like, you just got checked twice.
I think that he thinks that he's trying to sell fights, and he honestly, and as far as this fight, it should have happened later. Honestly, if you go as far as an in-ring technician, he was outclassed at every way, even when he stood up with Khabib in the third round. Yeah, he won that, but, Conor's supposed to be a knockout artist, dynamite in both hands, as Skip Bayless says. But yeah, like you said, he disrespected him as a man, and there's no line. And like, I think I'm gonna coin this term from you as a habitual line stepper.
Habitual line stepper. They ain't mine, but I love it. I got that from the Chappelle show from Charlie Murphy. R.I.P.
Yes. Well, that's Ishmael has called me a habitual line stepper, and
because you are.
And I do from time to time, but Conor's just downright disrespectful, and I'm glad that he got his ass whooped, and I can't wait to see what happens after that. But continuing with a little bit of UFC news, I got to give some shout outs to my new favorite fighter, Derrick Lewis, man.
Oh man, that was a post fight interview about 11 times, bro.
Dude, that's classic promo work right there. That's gonna show. Vince should watch that. Vince should be like, hey man, maybe we should stop scripting, our superstars promos, and give him a mic, give him some points, but don't restrict him, because he really, really connects with the audience. And I think that promo single-handedly got him his upcoming title fight with Daniel Cormier this November. Honestly,
I was reading an article. I think I shared it with you online the other day. I was reading the article, and it was about Stone Cold, and he was saying the exact same thing. Hey, you're kind of cuffing your talent there in the WWE. You got to uncuff them, let them be themselves, and actually cut a promo they feel comfortable with. And so it's been a while since I've seen anyone as comfortable as Derrick Lewis was on camera like that.
Yes.
Just be 100% free to be himself. And it was glorious.
It was glorious. And he was getting his ass whooped. And if people go back and watch the fight, Derrick Lewis was not winning that fight. He was getting his ass handed to him. He was tired. He was winded. There was no way that he should have gotten the win in that one. But, anything can happen. One punch can change everything. and that's what he's known for. He's a knockout artist, and that was hilarious. That was great. That fight interview. So hopefully
USA in
everybody's
this
watching
hoe.
USA in this hoe, and that's another thing that I want to elaborate on in this podcast or in this platform. We have to start showing our U.S. fighters some love. Like, everybody's all about, Conor McGregor, that dude's from Ireland, man. He's all about the Irish. He's coming over. He's taking advantage of the American dream. Let's get behind our Americans, on this upcoming November, and let's order this Daniel Cormier, versus, Derrick Lewis fight. USA in this hole. All right, man. All right.
We can talk about Derrick Lewis for about an hour, but let's go ahead and get into what the fans normally come to listen for. We about to talk that wrestling. Because once again, this is NJA, No Jobbers Allowed, episode 4. So let's go ahead and start with Super Showdown, bro. You want to go ahead and set up the first match?
Dude, Super Showdown, man. We had the Bar versus the New Day. I've seen them wrestle quite a few times, and I thought this was just some more of their great, back and forth kind of action. I enjoyed the match. It was what it was. What'd you think about it, Ish?
I thought it was pretty good, bro. So listeners, if you was watching my tweets, I actually got up for you like I promised in the last episode. I woke up, went to the gas station, bought some soda and some chips, and started watching Super Showdown, and the match was really good. Starting with the New Day in the Bar, started off really, really hot. So if you go back, and you was watching a couple of the singles matches like the Cesaro versus Kofi, Sheamus versus Big E, it was really good matches. So once they brought that together for the Super Showdown, I really enjoyed that match. Unfortunately, I picked the wrong team. I had the Bar going over, but they gave it to the New Day to retain. New Day, but they took it out, and I wasn't mad at it at all. I just thought the Bar was going to get it, but they didn't. So New Day won that one, and it was a really good match. I implore you guys, if you didn't see it, to watch the replay. If you got WWE Network, or I can catch it on YouTube.
I agree with that one. Great tag team wrestling. Then next we had Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, man. And this one ended with some controversy, man. We had a DQ finish with Charlotte Flair officially winning. Becky keeps the title, man. How did you feel about this one?
I was kind of let down because I thought they was going to give us a definitive winner, but then I did remember that they needed to stretch this out a little bit longer to give you some extra stuff, especially with SmackDown Live 1000 coming up. Mm-hmm. So, of course, I know they're going to do something with that. And then, of course, we're going to talk about their rematch from this past Tuesday later on in the pod. So, but all in all, the match was pretty good. The ending threw me for a loop because I didn't expect that ending. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is. It was still a good match overall. Both of those ladies did put on a really good show for Melbourne. And like I said, it was worth waking up for. What about you, bro?
Yeah. Great match. Again, I don't even need to elaborate anymore. Horrible ending. I do not agree with disqualification endings. Especially with this one, they needed to, I think they need to give Becky, the actual win to cement that she's actually better than Charlotte. The crowd was really behind Becky on that one. So that was good as far as that goes. We'll touch more on this feud when we get to our, SmackDown portion of the review. And then, the next match on the card, we had Bobby Lashley and John Cena versus Elias and Kevin Owens. And this was a classic John Cena. Great entertainment as far as that goes. Leo Rush wasn't there with Bobby Lashley, which again, without him for right now, he really hasn't found his character. But it ended with John Cena unleashing his sixth move of doom. I think it's called the Iron Fist?
It's a Mandarin name, and you ain't about to get me to pronounce it wrong. Yeah. So I'm just going to
Iron Punch.
He punched him. Yeah.
He hulked up, he powered up, Dragon Ball Z style, and gave him like a backhanded fist, Iron Fist, super punch, What did you think of this match?
I thought it was pretty good, and it kind of solidified what we said about what they were using John Cena for with Bobby Lashley, because Cena literally, that was pretty much all he did.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Lashley was in the whole match working against Elias, working against KO, and then, of course, at the end, tagged in Cena, boom, right off the bat, knocking down, 5-knuckle shuffle, the FU, I still call it the FU, not the altitude adjustment, and then hit him with that 5-finger death blow or whatever it's going to call, and boom, match is over.
Punch, yeah. Then he had a good promo afterwards too. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
you know.
it was but John Cena always been nice with the mic like that. You know, thank the crowd and get them energized to see more. So I'm excited for him coming up in Crown Jewel in that World Cup match.
Yeah, that
our tournament.
Oh, man, I've got so much about that World Cup. We can get on that a little bit later too. Transitioning on to that, we had I'm not going to say the disappointment for me, but
the
we had
the
Iconics versus Asuka and Naomi, and I didn't enjoy the match. I don't enjoy the Iconics. Maybe this is my ice in my veins moment, but it just didn't do it for me out of all the matches on that. I understand they had to give the hometown crowd, the win for the Iconics, but I just wasn't really feeling it. Even with Asuka and Naomi in it, I just don't think that they should have lost. How did you feel about this, Ish?
Well, you already know I'm Empress and Glow all day, every day. So, and I despise the Iconics. So I didn't like it. That's why I picked Empress and a Glow, but I kind of felt WWE was going to give up the win to the Iconics. They're in their hometown. The crowd is on their side, and they know they got the hometown boy Buddy Murphy coming up later in the show. So I didn't like it, but I can see why they did it from the business angle. Hey, our hometown people won. Maybe we should watch more WWE stuff because they let our people win. So, it just is what it is. Like I said, the match itself was as good as you was going to get, but you always get good things out of Asuka and Naomi, so at least that part was good. Peyton and Billie Kay didn't have a horrible showing, so I can't really fault them on that because they look okay. Not my favorite workers, but they were okay. What about you, bro?
Again, this was my least favorite match in the card. I think that Asuka and Naomi Asuka did a good job of carrying them through this match, and it didn't do it for me. I am happy they had their feel-good moment. Doesn't hurt Asuka, doesn't hurt Naomi. They got to win in their hometown. So, we can move on to, this one's the WWE title match where we had the no DQ, no count out, and there had to be a winner. It was Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. And this was a good match. It ended.
I liked it.
Yeah, this one was really, really good with lots of back and forth action. Probably the best showing that I've seen out of them. And it ended with Joe tapping to the calf crusher, which was good. With AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, you're always going to get great work. I had no problem with this, even though I would rather had Samoa Joe win to set up, a traditional heel versus a traditional face promo with Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe. But I took the loss on this one to you. You called it.
Yes, you did. I did call it. When we get into the SmackDown portion, all my events that I called out in the preview show are starting to take hold. Exactly what I said was going to happen. So with that win, like you said, it was a really good match. I appreciated everything going forward. And the way you see Joe gets his injury during the match, and then, AJ just loses his mind and start going after the injury the way he should to make sure he dismantles Joe. It was a really good show. And I was kind of glad they ended up with a submission like that because, he'd been trying to catch him in that Coquina clutch and choke AJ out. So I think it was a little bit of irony that AJ managed to make Joe tap with the calf crusher.
Yeah, I really like this one. And, it was, and they even sold this going forward, on SmackDown. So there was a little bit of, continuity as far as the storylines go with Joe's injury when he faced, Jeff Hardy on SmackDown. So I like that a lot.
Yep.
I like this match. It was a good one. Everybody should go back and watch this one.
One of the highlights of the show.
Definitely one of the highlights of the show. Coming up next, we had the Riot Squad versus the Bella Twins and Ronda Rousey. You know, you had faith that they were going to try to make a star out of the Riot Squad with Ruby Riot always doing so well, and Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan being, great cohorts with that. But I knew they weren't going to have Ronda Rousey lose, not on this big of a stage. It ended with, I think Ronda,
double
a
arm
double
bar,
arm
silver
bar.
ring on Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Like, the match was great. Like I said, man, if you guys, listeners, if you guys are not watching Riot Squad, you are missing out on some good wrestling. These ladies really put it on the line in the ring, and they make enjoyable matches. This match was really, really good. I even thought, even the end where they got double arm barred, I thought, man, they gotta lose. But in their loss, they made even more incredible fans. Like, I'm gonna stay marking out for, Riot Squad all day, every day. And I'm really looking forward to, looking at some more Sarah Logan, the powerhouse of the Riot Squad, because she really shined to me. Listeners, you already know I love Liv Morgan, and my favorite is of course Ruby Riot. But Sarah Logan, really good in this match, really, really good. What you think about it, bro?
I enjoyed it. I think that I'm just very shocked at how good Ronda is, man. I didn't expect Ronda to catch on this quickly and be this good. When she does that thing, when she starts to do like the MMA punches and she gets going, she sells really, really well. The Bella Twins in this one, they were all right. They were good. I can't say really anything bad about this one. It was very enjoyable. Not a low spot in the card. It's always good to see Ronda Rousey out there, and then make sure that their investment is paying off, and they're actually trying to build a credible champion. I think it played out really, really well not having her lose on this one, and we got more on that one a little bit later as far as what happened on Raw.
They kind of just decided to take what I thought they was going to do and push it out by a show. That's pretty much it. They did exactly what I thought they was going to do. They just pushed it out by a show. Yeah. I thought they was going to do it as Super Showdown, but they did it on Raw, and we will get into that, listeners, in a few moments once we finish wrapping up the Super Showdown. So, we know what you thought and what I thought about the Riot Squad versus the team of Bellas and Ronda. What we got up next?
Dude, the next one for me was the match of the show, and this is saying a lot as far as in-ring work went. We had the Cruiserweight champion. We had Cedric Alexander versus Buddy Murphy, and who I call one of the biggest cruiserweights I've ever seen. Dude's not 200 pounds. Dude's not 205 pounds. He's got to be at least 215, 220. And they put on a hell of a cruiserweight match. They gave him the time to do what they were supposed to do, which is cruiserweight stuff. A lot of these times they try to make the cruiserweights wrestle like they're on the main roster as far as, rest holds and stuff like that. But these guys had great spots. They were going back and forth, and I really, really, really enjoyed this match. What did you think about it?
Dog, the spots were amazing. Like, to see that type of action, you look at the rest of the matches that were in front of it. Like I said, Riot Squad was good versus Ronda and the Bellas. New Day was good versus the Bar and all that. The action was good, but it was just taken to another level when it came to that Buddy and Cedric match, man. You see the way these two athletes get in the ring and put each other through their paces and hit their setups and hit their spots. It's just make you go, wow, man. It's just awe-inspiring to see what the human body can do sometimes inside of that ring. So, man, that, for me, that was even, I know we're going to talk about the rest of the matches after this, but that was match of the day. That was the match. And if they were, the only reason why on any other card that couldn't be, or only reason why that couldn't have been the main event on this is because of the mega stars you had in the actual main event. This on any other card could have been a main event.
It was great. And I really feel like, 205 Live is really an afterthought as far as, at least in wrestling fans' minds. And hopefully this opened up some new eyes to take a look at that show, and hopefully they continue with Buddy Murphy. He was great. He was really, really good. And Cedric Alexander is so goddamn entertaining, man. So entertaining. Go watch 205 Live, everybody. Go watch 205 Live.
Trust me, watch it. You will not be let down. And they keep it short and sweet for you. Just within an hour, you can watch a couple of really, really good matches, man. Go watch 205 Live. Catch all the replays if you got WWE Network or Hulu. Watch them.
Yeah, dude. And then moving on from that match, we had the Shield versus the Dogs of War. And that one was good. You have all of these megastars, I'll say, of the current era, all going against each other, all the workhorses going in. This is a great back and forth match. It ended with the Shield winning. I do believe Dolph Ziggler got Dean Ambrose got the dirty deeds on Dolph Ziggler for the win. And it was just a really good match. High action, great bumps, great everything. I really, really enjoyed it. What did you think about it, Ishmael?
I will have to agree. It was really good action. It didn't end in a DQ like I thought it was going to continue the feud with no winner. But, I mean, the action was incredible. Even with the little controversy they tried to sell you during the match when Roman Superman punched Dean off the apron.
Yep.
And then he still comes back in. And the action from Seth Rollins, my man, ran from one side of the ring to suicide dive, rolled back into the ring and suicide dive, McIntyre on the other. I mean, he was incredible. I know we try to go through these quick, but man, Seth Rollins looked amazing and it was really good. He made it entertaining. But all those guys put in work. Shout out to Braun Strowman doing his work on the outside of the ring. But when Roman speared him through the barricade, my man, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was a really, really good match. Definitely go watch that, everybody. I'm glad this feud is kind of still going. I thought it was gonna get old on me, but once you see the in-ring work, you can't help but fall in love with these contenders and everything. Hopefully, eventually they get to, I know they're trying to go towards Crown Jewel, but I would really like for, them to pull the Intercontinental title away from this feud and to pull the tag team titles away from this feud, and either have it, a tag team match where you've got, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, or the Universal Champion. I mean, I guess they're doing all that at Crown Jewel, but get these titles, defended against some other people, some more up and comers. They don't need the belts for these matches. So I would love to see that once this feud ends and everybody goes their ways and they can all defend their titles again is all that I ask.
You're right. I want to actually see some title matches from those guys.
Yeah, it's elevating the titles just because all of the titles are in the main event picture. But I would love to see those all defended separately. Moving on from this, we had the kind of I'm gonna call it the head scratcher of the night. We had a number one contenders match, The Miz versus Daniel Bryan, and we got about a 5-minute match, which ended up with Daniel Bryan winning with a roll up out of nowhere with a surprise pin. And I know these two have faced each other quite often, over the years, and they've chronicled how they've gone back and forth and all this stuff, but I just didn't think that this number one contender stipulation would end this way. I wasn't disappointed because, Daniel Bryan won, which is what I wanted in the beginning, but I wondered why they went this way with that. What did you think about it?
Dog, you remember we was texting about this. We was watching the match, and then I looked down to text you back. I look up, and the match was over, bro.
Yeah,
I'll enjoy I guess I enjoy however long they gave us a match. I didn't really like the ending. I don't know if they were going overtime or what. It was a disappointing ending only because it's not what I was expecting. I won't say it wasn't a least intriguing match, but it was disappointing because it didn't necessarily meet my expectations of what I thought they was going to give us from all the build-up they gave us to the match.
Yep.
But that's really all I got to say about it. It was a good 5 minutes, I guess. But like I said, I looked down at my phone and looked back up, and the match was over. So
Yeah, and listeners, when we say, it didn't live up to our expectations or it wasn't what we thought, and that's not in a good way, at least for me. It's like, it wasn't bad, but, they need to start doing some stuff. Like if they had it in more spectacularly or he did the running knee or something, a roll up for a match of this magnitude, this build up for a number one contendership. I really wasn't feeling it, but, Daniel Bryan got the win, and now we get to see him go on and face AJ Styles, which will be great wrestling. And then to segue on from that, we have the main event of the evening. We got the no disqualification Triple H versus
wait,
Undertaker.
bro. The surprise no disqualification.
Oh yes, excuse me. Prize no disqualification. Triple H.
They announced it at the beginning once Undertaker got to the ring. That's when they announced it was changed to a no disqualification. So I thought that was a good little caveat on this, on everything. Like, hey, well, we just kind of watched this not normal ending to a match. So what can we do to really get the crowd back in it?
Hype it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So a no DQ match, and you got both Kane and Shawn Michaels out there, which means you can get interference without hearing the bell ring. So I was very excited to see it. And all my nostalgia from the late 90s, early 2000s came back, bro. Watching these who's working the ring together again was incredible, dog.
I loved it. I love this match. Again, I'm a mark for anything from, or not anything, but great content, stemming from, where I fell in love with wrestling. And, they had some great back and forth action. We saw Shawn Michaels go through a table. We saw, a tombstone and super kicks. And this match ended, with Triple H winning, which was a little bit different. I thought that the Undertaker was going to take this one, but then the biggest part of this match was afterwards. They were doing their thing in the ring where they were standing tall, and then the fireworks were going off. Everybody was all buddy for what we thought from what we've seen on previous WrestleManias, the end of an era, all that stuff where they all walk up together. But Kane and Undertaker, they being the dominant forces that they are, they turn around, they put the boots to Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and it looks like we got a show ending off the air with the Triple H and both Shawn Michaels laid out, which is a build up to a future tag team match. What'd you think about it?
I thought that was pretty cool because I was half expecting it, but not really. So I was like, is this the way it was going to end? And then when it happened, I was like, okay. So I wasn't tripping. And like I said, I called it. Remember, in the preview show, I said Triple H wins with a pedigree in the center of the ring. So I knew it was going to happen. But I knew they had to set up the tag match in some way. So I thought that was pretty good. I really enjoyed it, watching them talk, showing that respect for each other, and then all of a sudden, backstab, let's get it. So I thought that was a pretty good end to the show, bro.
I enjoyed it, man. So overall, I get that show, it has to be, one of their WWE Network specials. I'm going to give it an A, other than the Iconics winning, which again, that was surprising, but not surprising as in the way with The Miz and Daniel Bryan. It was surprising, and I like this show a lot. What did you think about it overall?
Overall, I will go with an A-, only because of the Iconics and the Daniel Bryan thing. If they didn't have the Daniel Bryan thing, it probably would have got an A for me. But A-, that's still an A-, dog. So, it was still an overall great show. Just what I wasn't expecting with Daniel Bryan and The Miz. And then, of course, like the Iconics getting over. Of course, they got over on their home crowd. So it ain't like I can say it was the wrong play for the WWE. It was their home crowd. So I'll give it an A-. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I didn't waste getting up at 4 a.m. to watch some wrestling.
It was good, man. I always love the content. If you haven't watched Super Showdown, play it back. If you didn't listen to our Super Showdown prediction show, I would go back in the archives and listen to that one. We have some great takes on what we thought was going to happen. And if you don't follow us on Twitter yet, follow us at Podcast NJA so you can see some of our banter, some of our Big Ish's live tweets from 4 a.m. Watching Super Showdown. It was actually great. One of the best things that I loved was that they had this show mean something. And it actually segues into Monday Night Raw for me, which I actually got to attend live. It was here at the Allstate Arena in Chicago, Illinois, where I'm from. And Raw actually started out with Triple H and Shawn Michaels in the ring. They were talking about respect. And respect is a word that's lost significance. And, they go back and forth. And pretty much at the end, at Crown Jewel, Shawn Michaels is officially coming out of retirement. And DX putting a challenge down for the Brothers of Destruction. So at Crown Jewel, it should be DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. I thought this initial promo to start it out was great. What did you think about this promo, Ish?
I thought it was pretty good because you kind of got the trappings of late 90s, early 2000 DX coming to the ring, but with a significantly different play because they're older. They are kind of more reserved than what they would have done back then. So it was a little bit different to see people that you grew up watching and how they changed over the years, but yet how they can still give you the feeling of what they gave in the past. So, of course, thought the cutting that promo was sweet, gave me some DX nostalgia, and I can't wait for the Crown Jewel to see that match.
Yeah, that should be great. I'm pumped for it, and I'm excited to see what the build-up to that is. So, right after we saw, DX, saying, they're going to face the Brothers of Destruction at Crown Jewel, we got Kevin Owens and Bobby Lashley with Lio Rush coming against each other. And what we saw in this match was a heel turn from my man, Bobby Lashley. Being in the live crowd, I can tell you Kevin Owens was super, super over with the Chicago crowd. He got one of the largest pops of the night when his entrance music came on. And I was sad to say that I was one of the only few people in attendance that was actually cheering for Bobby Lashley. And in this match, we saw the heel turn happen with actually Lio Rush talking, on a mic while Bobby was wrestling. So, he was being a little shit talker. He was laying it on thick, man, and he was really riling up that crowd. And I love this. I liked it a lot. I think they need to give Bobby Lashley that personality. And as we talked about it, he's not going to have it as a character for right now. He has to develop into it. So having somebody who can talk on the mic, Lio Rush, talking all that shit on the outside was great. On live, it came off great. I'm not really sure how it came through on TV, but this match ended with Lashley beating up Kevin Owens pretty bad. And what'd you think about it?
I thought it was incredible because you always know I've been waiting on something for Bobby Lashley to really be able to to put a fire under him. And this heel turn is incredible. Pairing him with Lio Rush, getting Lio Rush to do all the talking. And I thought when the Chicago crowd was booing Bobby, I was like, what is going on?
It was bad.
I was like, what is this? But then I remember everyone in Chicago is rude as hell. So it was so it was to be expected. They don't know a good wrestler if it bit them in the ass. But like I said, it was great. I thought it was good. Because I don't know if I was expecting a heel turn, but I don't know what else I could expect if you got Lio Rush. So that was just incredible right there. And then, like you said, after the match with Bobby Lashley slamming Kevin Owens' knees against the ring post was incredible. I really enjoyed that, even though now KO has been put on the injury list. So who knows when he's coming back now. I probably think sometime he won't be back for the rest of this year, but he's supposed to be coming back in 2019. So, get better, Kevin Owens. I still don't like you. I don't know why the Chicago crowd popped for you. I dislike you a lot. But I give credit where credit is due because you improved on what you do entertaining-wise in the ring with the high flying you was doing. I never expected you to jump over the top rope to hit Lashley on the side. So you showed me some things I wasn't expecting out of you, but I don't like you, and I won't miss you. I won't miss you for the rest of this year. So,
but get better, bro. Get better.
Get better.
Get better, Kevin Owens.
I don't like you, but get better anyway.
So then after that, we got to see that great heel turn, and then we had Elias in the ring, and he was doing his normal shtick where he was singing, and he's great. He also got a pop. Also, he gets a pop everywhere. But I'll say he got the largest, loudest boo, and he got the most heat that the Chicago crowd would give him when he said, he doesn't have to see the Chicago Cubs in the World Series. I actually stood up and clapped because here at the NJA podcast, we are White Sox fans, or at least I'm a White Sox fan. But, there was no real ending to it. They just had Kevin Owens talking shit about, Chicago and John Cena. And then all of a sudden we get Ronda Rousey's music, and we get a rematch of what happened on Super Showdown with Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins versus the Riot Squad. And live, this match didn't come off the greatest, but it showed. So here's one of the things. Being in the live crowd, I don't really know if Chicago is different than any other city, but there was no real heat for anybody. There was no real bad guys, at least when music came on, everybody popped. When the Riot Squad's music came on, they had a cheering section. The Bellas got a huge pop. It was just kind of weird to me. It was like WWE's in this spot where everybody gets cheered for. It seems like to me. But this match was really good. They went back and forth. It ended with Ronda Rousey tapping out Ruby Riott to the armbar. And then we had what we all expected to come. Ish thought it was going to come at Super Showdown. I knew it was going to come eventually. But we got the Bella Twins turning on Ronda Rousey. And I thought it was magical the way they did it, the way they stomped her, the way they showed, this is my ring. They were putting the boots to her. Ronda tried to fight back a little bit. They got super nuclear heat after that. They got a "you suck" chant started. What did that come off like on TV, Ish?
Like I said, it was a really good match. First off, let's say that. I can't say that enough. My girl Ruby Riott, the rest of the Riott Squad. Shout out to Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. They had a really good match. Like I said, I thought this turn was going to come at Super Showdown. I knew Nikki and Brie had something brewing. I knew at Evolution, I think it was going to be Nikki. They was going to put with Ronda anyway. So I was trying to predict that. I was just one show off. So on TV, for me, it was like, oh, it's now, because you kind of saw the trappings of it at Super Showdown. Because Nikki was arguing with Ronda, who was going to start the match at Super Showdown. They had a little tiff then, and then kind of a really quick one on Raw Monday. So I knew something was about to happen. So then, after the match, of course, when they holding hands up like, yeah, blah, 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 and boom, the Bellas get to stomping Ronda and jumping at her.
Yeah,
and then the camera cut right to Ronda's face right before they was stomping her in the into the corner of the ring, and she was like, why would you do this? And boom, boom, boom. So I thought it was really good. I thought it was really cool that Nikki put her foot on her and raised her hand like the champ stepping on Ronda. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I knew it was coming. You could feel it had to come. So now we got another championship match at Evolution, which, listeners, I can't wait to give you the Evolution. We're going to do the same thing we did for Super Showdown. We're going to give you a prediction show for that, too.
Yep. It's going to be exciting. I'm glad they segued that and they actually kept it.
Oh!
Grew it.
I forgot, bro. the beginning of this match with Liv Morgan and Brie
Brie
was
Bella.
the most incredible part to the match. Cause Liv was going at it. That was some good work by the two, showing the anger from the last time when they gave Liv the concussion. I really enjoyed the work on that from Liv, cause
It was fun.
she was incredible. I love Liv. Shout out Liv, shout out Sarah, shout out Ruby. We gonna get y'all over one of these days.
They're gonna come. I can feel it. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what what's coming up with Evolution. It should be a highlight of the year if they continue to keep on pushing people right and building and the build up for the next couple weeks. After we get that fantastic heel turn by the Bellas on Ronda Rousey, we had one of the things that I'm gonna call there's a little bit more ice in my veins than Ishmael's veins. So I'm just gonna go out here and say it. We got Finn Balor and Bayley versus Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. So correct me if I'm wrong. Finn Balor and Bayley are mixed match challenge partners, correct? And Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox are mixed match challenge partners. Why the hell are they having this match on Raw when we should be going to the mixed match challenge to see these things? I don't get it.
My thing is,
I don't get it.
I think they're trying to draw the attention. Like, Mixed Match Challenge has been getting a lot of views on Facebook Watch, but I think they're trying to draw more to remind people, hey, go watch Mixed Match Challenge tomorrow night. I think sometimes people may forget. They don't know. But I don't get it. Why not just, I don't know what the pairing is with Facebook Watch when you got it going live on WWE or being on demand on WWE Network right after. Most people would just watch it on the app instead of Facebook. So I think it's to draw more attention to the Mixed Match Challenge. That's it. I think that's all that is.
But then they put on, so first of all, I tweeted it that Finn Balor is, again, one of the most over people. I think he's underutilized. Bayley's really huge with the kids. I got a story about the last WWE event I went to at the United Center, not the Allstate Arena. But Bayley came out. I stood up and I said, Bayley sucks. And the whole section turned on me. I thought I was going to get pitchforked in this one because Bayley's so over. All the little kids attacked me. They're all like, Bayley doesn't suck. That's a story for another day. But then we get this terrible match with Finn Balor and Bayley versus Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. It does not make me want to watch the Mixed Match Challenge. It makes me want to turn this shit off. And if I could have got up and got popcorn at this point, I would have. Even though I'm a huge Finn Balor fan, this match did not do it for me. I thought it was one of the worst of the shows. One of the worst of the week for me. What did you think about all this, Ish?
I think I actually turned the channel. I ain't gonna hold y'all listeners. I didn't watch the match. I really didn't. I was like, cause the last time I watched them on the actual Mixed Match Tag Challenge, they didn't work well together in the ring. Like, not saying they weren't good, but it just didn't entertain me. So I didn't want to watch the match again. So
that shit was terrible. We won't.
I don't even know who. I don't even know who win.
Doesn't even matter.
Doesn't even. So let's go to something when I turn back channel.
It does not even matter. It was so stupid. I was not impressed by that. But we had a couple backstage segments that we'll kind of brush over. We don't want to go too in depth with the backstage segments. It was more of arguing dissension between Ziggler and McIntyre and Braun Strowman. Then next we got the World Cup Battle Royal. So what happened was GM Baron Corbin puts himself in this Battle Royal, and the winner of this Battle Royal gets to go to Crown Jewel and be a part of the World Cup. So pretty much what Baron Corbin has, he has a whole bunch of what we call quote unquote jobbers in the ring from all over the world, and he's gonna have a Battle Royal, and whoever wins this gets to go on a Crown Jewel as to represent WWE in this WWE World Cup tournament. But so they had various people from various other places. They had people from Mexico, from Chile, from Germany, pretty much jobbers that Baron Corbin is throwing out of the ring. He is looking to win, but he thinks he kicks all of them out. But there's one of the quote unquote jobbers.
Conquistador!
The Conquistador sitting there in the gold outfit, He rolls back in the ring and hits a trio of German suplexes, and from that moment we knew that it was Kurt Angle, man. Kurt Angle hits him with the 3 Germans and hits him with the Angle Slam, and then throws him out of the ring, and the Conquistador wins. Then he unveils, he takes off his mask, and Kurt Angle's music plays, and we get a huge "You suck" chant going, which honestly was the biggest pop of the night. Quick
side note on that, bro. Quick side note. I was watching WWE Ride Along on the WWE Network the other day. I was watching one with Sasha and Bailey. Mm-hmm. And Sasha really was trying to figure out, she's like, if everyone likes Kurt Angle, why when he comes out, people keep saying you suck? And Bailey was looking at her like, are you serious?
Dude, that's like it started with, started with Edge. Edge he actually got that started. Edge was like, when Kurt Angle was a heel, he used to walk out and say, Edge walked out and said, you know what? You're not really, really good. You actually suck. So if any of the listeners don't know where that came from, YouTube, Edge, Kurt Angle, you suck, and that will show you the SmackDown where that actually originated from.
I was like, I couldn't believe Sasha was really she was dead serious about that too. Yeah. She's like, why do they actually say, they think he's good, so why do they actually say you suck? I was like, nah, she can't be this dense right now, bro. But yeah, I encourage y'all, if y'all listeners, if y'all got the WWE Network, they got some pretty good content on there, man. I've been watching a lot of their other shows about their outside of the ring, so it was pretty good, man. I couldn't believe Sasha, man. But let's continue. Like, Kurt Angle wins that, and then gets interviewed backstage. Charlie Caruso, and she was like, well, how do you feel about winning that even though you're coming back from vacation? And he gives her a wink, hey, I still am on vacation, and of course walks off outside the arena. So what we got after that, bro?
Dude, we had another women's match. We had Ember Moon versus Nia Jax. Please correct me if I'm wrong. They were just friends a couple weeks ago, were they not? They were teaming up together.
Well, because this wasn't a malicious match. They promoted it as a spirit of competition match. Just, to two women who think they're the best go against each other in the spirit of competition. And that's what that was. Well, it wasn't no feud turn or nothing like that.
Well, Ember Moon wins this match by countout, which I hate countout wins. And then they hug, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you, all this stuff. And again, I personally think Nia Jax needs to be a monster. She needs to be a beast. She's bigger than everybody. She shouldn't she shouldn't lose by a count out like this, first of all. She should have came in, squashed this little girl, and went on about her business. It didn't do much for me. I'm glad to see that women's wrestling has become more prominent. At least it was somewhat entertaining to watch. It was much better than the Finn Balor and mixed match challenge match they had earlier. But this match really didn't do much for me. They ended it with they were raising their arm and they were all happy and they were hugging each other. Don't know where they're going to go from this, but how'd you feel about this segment?
Well, listeners, as you can hear after our 4th episode, Chris is kind of a curmudgeon and he don't like nice things. So I am always got to be the positive one here. I did enjoy the match. I thought it was pretty good. And, I text you while you was there like, hey, here's your Nia Jax squash match that you always been talking about. And it turned out to be better than that. Got some good showing and some good work from Ember. And like I said, the count out, the way I'm typically on your side in this, bro, and hating count out wins. But the way this one transpired was pretty good. Ember and Nia working on the outside of the ring. Nia going for a shoulder rush. Ember moves out the way, and Nia throws her shoulder into the side of the ring hard, and then Ember slides into the ring to get the win. I thought it was good the way they did it, so that was pretty okay for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you thought it was okay, because I didn't like it, but we'll continue on. This is what wrestling's all about. Difference of opinion, still coming together and still loving each other. Next, we got the Hall of Famer Trish Stratus, man. She comes out, she's talking about how she's going to make history. It says the moment of bliss from last week was trash. We get Alexa Bliss and Mickey James coming out. Trish Stratus says, "Hey, I'm ready to fight." They said they're not going to do it. Blase, blase. They went back and forth. This was actually pretty good. Trish still needs to get back in shit talking form because I feel like Alexa Bliss was getting there a little bit. But then this sets up an angle where
Wait. Listeners, in the comment, please tell me if you remember Trish Stratus's accent being so thick. Bro, I do not remember her sounding so Canadian when I was growing up, man.
She's always been super Canadian, yeah.
I know she's Canadian, but I just never remember her accent being so thick back then, man. I just don't remember it. I was like, is she really talking like she's an extra in Dudley Do-Right right now? Man, I couldn't believe it. But I was like, well, damn, when I was growing up, was I really paying attention to Trish talking anyway? So I don't know. Maybe that was just me. Listeners, you tell me if I'm right, wrong, or indifferent. But all right, bro, continue.
So then this actually, Trish says, they're both gonna find out what a Hall of Fame beatdown feels like. And then, Mickey says, she would love to know how that feels like. They should just do a tag team match at Evolution. And then Trish says, that's a good idea. I have a partner. And then Lita comes out, man, and they get to mopping Alexa Bliss and Mickey James, and then that sets up our tag team match of Alexa Bliss and Mickey James versus Lita and Trish Stratus, which I'm super excited for. I'm glad they're finally building towards Evolution, and this should be a good match. It should hide some of the rust that the older people have, but still give us that great dose of nostalgia while still getting that little bit of the new school in.
I don't like Lita wearing flannel pants, man.
I don't begrudge Lita for her fashion choices. She's a grown woman.
My queen of hardcore shouldn't be wearing flannel pants, man. What is this, man?
She's grown up. Her style has evolved a little bit. She's not the same woman she was 10, 15 years ago. She has a kid now, so she's
Where's the
trying to make it different.
Where's the fishnet arm sleeve Lita at? That's my Lita.
She's trying to come a little bit classier, man. She's coming a little bit classier. She can't
For what? Maybe I'm just stuck in the past, Let me come up to 2018. But my queen of hardcore wouldn't be wearing flannel pants with. Let's just go on, bro.
So then after that, we get a backstage promo from the Shield, your traditional look into the camera. We are the Shield deal. To hype up the main event. Then we had, again, I don't understand why this keeps on happening. We get the Ascension versus Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, and I just can't buy into it. Maybe it's the ice in my veins. This shit was boring. Whenever we get a CM Punk chant started in Chicago, that's when it's boring. Gable hits the German suplex for the bridge for the win. I don't understand what they're doing with this. Thank God the Authors of Pain come down to beat up everybody. They actually saved this segment for me. If the Authors of Pain had come down and beat everybody's ass, I would have been so pissed off. They're doing this in the tag team division, but I don't understand why the Ascension and Bobby Roode and Chad Gable are still doing this shtick where they lose to each other, where they win to each other, where they lose to each other. But AOP coming down, Authors of Pain, laying waste to everybody. Was the highlight of this part for me. What'd you think?
Unfortunately, I changed the channel again, bro.
Exactly, man.
I ain't gonna lie, I changed the channel, so I didn't really catch it. I turned it back after the AOP ambush, so I ain't got much for you this time on this match, listeners.
Well, it was what it was. It's kind of watch the AOP running in. That was good. Everything else was just your run-of-the-mill. If you've watched Raw over the past month, you've seen this same exact match probably 4 or 5 times. Just get a little bit old, so we won't spend any more time on that. Next, we get a promo from Paul Heyman talking about his advocate and how he's the advocate for Brock Lesnar and how he can't wait for Crown Jewel and all this nonsense. Woo, woo, woo. The Shield come out for the main event after that promo. Paul Heyman, though, did a good job of making Lesnar look like an asshole. I like it. I like the way he came out. He always does what he does. Then we get the Shield versus Braun Strowman Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. And to be honest, it was a lot of the same from what they did on Super Showdown, which again is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. But just with this one, it got Drew hitting the Claymore kick on Dean Ambrose to get the pin. And then it ended with Dean Ambrose walking away, leaving his brothers, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns in the ring. I don't know what to think of this, man. I don't really know. It was great live. It was great. I watched it back on TV. I really, really enjoyed this match. Hopefully this will, get these guys split away from each other and get these feuds, the feud for the Crown Jewel title, with the Universal title more centered with Roman Reigns and just Braun Strowman, and then maybe pull them away. I'm not sure. What do you think about this, Ish?
I thought it was more of the same like you, but once again, that wasn't a bad thing. I like the different wrinkle they added with Braun about to turn on Ziggler, but McIntyre stepping in to challenge Braun in that moment, saying, do that to me, and see what happens. So I thought that was pretty good, and at that moment, I thought that's when the Shield was going to capitalize and get the victory. I think McIntyre may have been, Braun was the legal man, and I thought they was going to use that moment to attack Blase, but it actually turned out pretty well. McIntyre, what's his move? Not the psycho kick, but what is it?
Claymore kick.
Claymore kick. Just gets the win over, I think it was Dean.
Yep, over Dean.
So I think that was pretty good. Like I said, it was good. All in all, it was a good match, but it's at least I can endure it because they give you good action. So that is kind of a give and take. I want them to give me some new feuds or some new action coming out of the feud, whether it actually be Dolph and McIntyre defending their tag belts. But I don't think that's going to happen just yet. So at least it was kind of entertaining. So I'm hoping to hurry up and get past this so we can get some separate matches between the six instead of keep getting these tag matches and these little single matches out of it. I want something that actually means something out of them, and I know that's coming up at Crown Jewel with the triple threat match. So hopefully we get more stuff after that after Crown Jewel.
I enjoyed it. I'm going to give Raw, an overall grade of an A. We had, the that mixed match challenge bullshit that they had. And the where the tag team division is now, we've got Chad Gable and Bobby Roode and the Ascension keep on fighting each other. That was the low points, but the highest of the highs, with the DX and with Trish Stratus and Lita and Kurt Angle, this Raw definitely gets an A for me. Had your nostalgia from back in the day while still setting up for your pay-per-view next month, while setting up for two pay-per-views at the same time, Crown Jewel and Evolution, while still keeping everything in line. What did you think of Raw overall?
It didn't keep me entertained like it has in the last couple of weeks. So I'm giving it a B this time, bro, because I had to change the channel a few times and it didn't really capture me like it normally does. And but the writers have been getting there, and I'm hoping like that coming up next week that during the build up from the Evolution, I see more out of the women. I'm hoping that since Crown Jewel is coming up, I'll see more build up for that, and just some good matches is what I'm looking for, because they can't do much to jeopardize their Crown Jewel and Evolution matches. So I'm hoping that gives us a chance to see more new talent get a little bit of shine on the main shows.
Definitely, man. Definitely. So, yeah, that was Raw, man, from Chicago. It was a good show. So I guess we can actually segue into SmackDown Live, which actually was live from the Bankers Fieldhouse?
Banker Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, my hometown. Let's get
in Indianapolis, man. And this show started out with Charlotte versus Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's title. We get a rematch from Super Showdown. And this match was great, man. It was going really, really well. It was going back and forth. I liked it a lot. It was a lot of great back and forth action. But then it ended in a double count out, man. It ended a double count out, and then Becky runs up the ramp. Charlotte chases her and ends up getting a hellacious spear on Lynch through the LED boards. And they're both laid out. They're both laying there, and we get one of these, wishy-washy, nobody wins, nobody loses finishes that I'm not huge on, but I love the action in the ring. I just didn't like the finish of it. What did you think about it?
I enjoyed it because, like I said, we've been getting a lot of rematches from Super Showdown this week, and this was one of the better ones. I would say it was probably the best one. So the way it ended, I didn't think they was going to I knew they weren't going to give Charlotte the belt, and what would the purpose serve to get another win on Charlotte on a Thursday night, or excuse me, it's not the 2000 anymore, on the Tuesday night SmackDown. So I didn't see why they would let Becky just win over Charlotte tonight to keep her belt definitively. So I understood the double count out. But the spear, man, that was an incredible piece of wrestling right there, man. It was great watching her spear through the LED screen, man. It was incredible. And the way they sold it was because, like, it did look like something did go wrong. Cause you had Charlotte bleeding from her wrist, and then you could barely even see Becky, and you can hear somebody kind of like, like really feeling in pain. So the sale of that, if that was not real, they did a really good job of selling like the pain they both were in. So I thought it was incredible, and it reminds me of a match not too long ago on NXT with two of my favorite ladies, Bianca Belair and Nikki Cross. And listeners, if you follow me on Twitter, you know how much I love Nikki Cross. And they had a similar match where they just gave it their all. Nobody won. And then they just started attacking each other out the ring. And then Nikki Cross jumps off an announcing table. Guys, ladies, listeners, go watch that NXT match, Nikki Cross versus Bianca Belair, because they actually got a rematch coming up this following Wednesday. So watch it, because it was just as incredible as this Becky Lynch and Charlotte. So I thought it was good, bro. So let's go ahead. We ain't got too much more to say about this match. It was just a really good match. So let's hit the next thing that came up.
So then we get a WWE World Cup qualifier, which we got Samoa Joe versus Jeff Hardy, which, that's kind of coming out of left field. It's like the last time we saw Jeff Hardy, he was all fucked up from Hell in a Cell. I really think they could have explained that a little bit better, or even...
Yeah, they didn't give no type of, update, and Jeff Hardy's going to be back. Like, they didn't do nothing.
They could have...
Jeff Hardy.
Done something. Jeff Hardy's here, and they could have even had... Jeff Hardy go up against Randy Orton, or either way, it didn't really make sense to me to have Jeff Hardy go against Samoa Joe. Jeff Hardy gets the win by referee stoppage because Samoa Joe's knee, he's hitting the steel steps and he's working on the leg and stomping away at it. And that's still, continuing over from, when putting the calf crusher, all that stuff. I won't say it was a bad match, but again, referee stoppage, and you got your Samoan badass who is now tapped out on one of your biggest pay-per-views, Super Showdown, and has now lost to referee stoppage from an Attitude Era superstar like Jeff Hardy, which, again, to me, I see what they're trying to do with the World Cup. They're trying to make it a who's who of stars that everybody knows, that everybody's familiar with. But they didn't need to do this with Samoa Joe. I think that his stock has kind of taken a little bit of hit with these two losses so recently.
Yeah, it wasn't a match that I would have booked for Samoa Joe coming off of that. It really wasn't, but I guess I'm always happy for any one of the Hardys to, get some shine again. I always liked the Hardys, grew up loving them, my love for Lita and my love for the Hardys are one and the same. So, but it's just one of those things. I can't call it. I just know I would have preferred maybe Joe not being in a match this past SmackDown. I just would have preferred him not being in a match, like maybe doing a video, like saying how disappointed he is with himself from getting tapped out and having to give up on the championship at that time. But I don't know. I don't know what purpose this served, getting Jeff over on Samoa, like when you could have put anyone else with Jeff to get him over.
Anybody.
So, but like I said, all in all, it wasn't a bad match, just not the match I would have preferred. So I actually watched it. I thought it was a good match all in all. The referee stoppage, of course, Joe could barely stand on his knee. So I thought it was okay match.
With that,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. You are 100% right on that one. I agree as far as that goes. Then, they were hyping, Miz TV, and, Miz comes out, and, he's talking about, his guests tonight are going to be AJ Styles, and was it Daniel Bryan that was supposed to be out there? Yeah. Both AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan are out there. The Miz is absolutely golden on the mic, man, because, man, he's so good at putting them down. And I just thought that, this is going to be typical what it is. It was a lot of AJ saying, oh, you're great, and I want to beat you. And Daniel Bryan saying, oh, my gosh, you're great, and I want to beat you. But then, the Miz cuts in with just the great promo work that he does, saying, AJ, you've been champion for this long, and, the title hasn't been defended on any of the major pay-per-views, and you have been the main event, and blase, and all that stuff. And this segment really didn't do it all for me, but it did lead up to AJ Styles versus Shelton Benjamin, which is always a great thing. What did you think about this segment of Miz TV? I thought the Miz, again, got himself over, even after losing in such terrible fashion, and even staking claim, I'm next, because I didn't really lose it at Super Showdown. My shoulders were up. I thought the Miz did a great job. What did you think about the rest of this?
I thought they could have been better if they let it be Truth TV, but like you said, Miz is always golden on the mic.
Yep.
He was always good. But like I said, it turned out exactly how I said it was going to play out. What did I say on the preview show, bro? I said Daniel Bryan's going to win, AJ going to win, and then they're going to do some respect stuff, shake each other's hand. I'm better than you. No, I'm better, and we're going to prove it. Because I think you're the best, and I want to go against the best, beat the blah, 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 nice guy, babyface versus babyface. Exactly how I called it, because, I didn't see any other way for it to turn out. And that's exactly what they did, down to the handshake and all, bro.
You're right.
It just is what it just is what it is. Like, once again, I thought the segment was good only because you needed the Miz. Mm-hmm. This wouldn't have been a great cut for the WWE if it was just two baby faces. Yeah. Like, and these two particular baby faces, entertaining. Yeah. They're both entertaining when they're going against other heels. Not so much when they're going against other baby faces. Or at least the promo shooting isn't good when they're going against baby faces.
I agree. And with that, of course, they're going to put on a phenomenal, no pun intended, match go at the Crown Jewel. It's just, I don't know how much build-up they can do against each other without having the Miz involved. Just because it's going to be so lame if these two just, you're great, but I'm better. You're great, but I'm better. So I would expect to see, a couple matches that are tag team matches leading up to it, where actually, Daniel Bryan teams with AJ and they face, the Miz and Samoa Joe or something like that, something like that's going to happen. And I don't really like that kind of booking. I'm more traditional heel versus face. But at least we're going to see some good action out of that.
Well, like I said, it's going to be because the only thing that saves this is because, it's going to be a good match. That's the only thing that saves this. Like, everyone else going to have to do their jobs, like, in overdrive to make it entertaining before the match. Because AJ and Daniel Bryan, because of who they are, it's not a good entertaining outside the ring.
No.
But as workers, though, it's going to be an amazing match. You just going to have to keep me excited before I forget about the match. So that's what I think is going to have to happen. Like, they're going to need another type, Miz type, to keep bringing entertainment to it outside of the ring. And then AJ and Daniel Bryan are going to sell it like hell when they actually do have their match. It's going to be incredible.
Definitely. But then we get a really good match against AJ Styles versus Shelton Benjamin. And
very
AJ Styles winning. Yeah, it was very good. And it's good to remind people. So honestly, if I could switch some stuff around in this show, I would have had Jeff Hardy beat Shelton Benjamin. You know,
I see what you're going with.
Then, because if he's going to lose either way, why not have him lose and have the World Cup on the line? Make it seem something outside of that. But I see they're trying to be congruent with The Miz, bringing up Shelton Benjamin and making him relevant again. I'm still harping on that Samoa Joe losing that way. Either way, it was good. You know, we had a very, very good match, I would say. The match of SmackDown, for me at least, with AJ Styles versus Shelton Benjamin. The phenomenal forearm at the end off the springboard and off the ropes was great. Go back and watch it. What do you think about it, Ishmael?
Only thing I would have preferred, because the match was incredible, only thing I would have preferred is Shelton getting the win just like he got the win over Daniel Bryan.
Yes.
That's the only thing, because then they both lost to Daniel Bryan. Or, excuse me,
Shelton
they
Benjamin.
both lost to Shelton Benjamin. And then that would be something where you could actually leverage in the future with Shelton Benjamin. You see where I'm going? But they didn't do it like that. And I'm kind of let down they didn't do it like that. But talking about Shelton Benjamin reminded me about the storyline they used to have for him. Remember when he was the mama's boy?
Yeah, man, that racist ass shit.
Oh my God. I was like, wait. Because I was watching this match and then I was like, damn, when the last time I actually thought about Shelton Benjamin? And then I was like, yeah, last week, blah, blah, blah. But when the last time did I care? Wait, what the heck was that? Something popped into my mind. I was like, no, I don't remember that. What is going on? And that made me YouTube Shelton Benjamin. I was like, I remember the All-American team with him and Angle and your boy. And then I was like, oh, okay. Then suggested video popped up, Shelton Benjamin, mama's boy. And I was like, what? Wait, what? And watched it. I was like, oh, no wonder I forgot about it. It was a piece of crap storyline. I was like, this was trash. And I was like, no wonder I had forgot about Shelton Benjamin for so long. That just had left a bad taste in my mouth. But like I said, this match would have been better served letting Shelton Benjamin win and leveraging with something in the future going on down the line after Crown Jewel. But they didn't do it like that. So I think I think it was a waste on that time. But all in all, it's still a good match. Shelton still got it. I mean, they all do. They damn near all the same age. Like AJ old. Shelton's old. Like Daniel Bryan's probably old. I think he's still a little bit younger. But yeah, they old, but they still really got it because everyone still gives them a big pop. So I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I couldn't believe I forgot about Shelton Benjamin in the Mama Boys storyline.
Yeah, man, that's sad. We should all forget about that. Don't go YouTube that, guys. It's terrible.
I swear I really did forget, and something made me remember. I was like, wait, what did I forget about Shelton Benjamin? Because all I remembering was the All-American team. And then something in the back of my mind was like, nope, that is not all. This is a repressed memory coming to haunt you, Ishmael. Mm-hmm. And then it came back. I was like, oh no, it was so trash. But let's go ahead and continue on.
Yeah. So, we got AJ Styles beating Shelton Benjamin with the phenomenal forearm. Then we get the conclusion to what has been my favorite storyline for the past couple weeks. Aiden English, Chicago's own. He's going to show the rest of the tape or the director's cut I should tell you of what happened in that hotel room.
One night in Milwaukee.
Lana. One night in Milwaukee, and it goes to show, they show the same thing with Lana ending with "I want you," but it says, "I want you to know how much you mean to Rusev," and then Lana says something about how Rusev appreciates English and how he's helped his career and all this stuff, and they said they both mean the world to me. And then they tried to end it where I think Aiden's touching Lana's arm, and then English was like, if you want to see the rest, come out to the ring. He gives him a mic. He says, English, I'll destroy the video if Rusev kicks Lana out of Rusev Day, or out of he kicks him out of the stable, on some "I love you" type shit. Rusev said, if you're serious, you'll show me the whole tape. English comes back, that's it's a family show. No man should see that. And then Lana says, if you won't show the full tape, I will. And
let's get to it, bro.
Right?
It ended exactly how it was supposed to end, or how exactly I was going to predict it. It ended, of course we know Lana didn't cheat on Rusev. Of course we know Aiden was going to manipulate it. They would have been better served just letting it play out a lot quicker in this particular show instead of drawing it out. And then, of course, Rusev running down the ring, trying to attack and doing all that, blah, blah, blah.
You forgot the best line, though. You forgot the best line.
What was that?
He said something like, English tells Lana that, if she gets tired of a Rusev Day, she can come treat herself to an Aiden night.
Oh, yes! That was the best part. Come have an Aiden night. And of course, that's what flipped Rusev's switch, and he'd go after Aiden. That was the best part.
Yeah,
once you see the rest of the video, the build-up is gone, the excitement is gone. There's nothing left to wring out of this. So let's just hurry up and get this over with. Rusev, go beat him up, and blah, blah, blah. Let's move on. But that was the only other good part was, come and have an Aiden night.
I was like, damn.
There you go, Aiden. You ain't so much of a punk that I thought you were. So, but that was that, listeners. You ain't going to get too much more out of that. It wasn't that much better. So we're going to move on from there.
All right. So then from there, so eventually we'll probably have a match, Aiden English versus Rusev in the near future, probably at Crown Jewel. Hopefully not at Crown. Actually, who knows? Who knows what it's going to be?
If it's at Crown Jewel, of course, it's going to be on the pre-show.
Yeah, it has to be.
Rusev ain't made an actual main card, and I don't know when. He always been stuck on the pre-show, so.
It's so sad. But then after that, Rey Mysterio is returning at SmackDown 1000 next week. He will be competing in the World Cup World Cup qualifier against Shinsuke Nakamura. So I expect Ray to go over in that one so that we continue our mid-2000s WWE World Cup that we have so far with Kurt Angle, John Cena, I can't remember who the fuck else, and Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, and eventually Randy Orton, because we get the World Cup qualifying match, Randy Orton versus Big Show, and
the main event.
And alright listeners, if you go back to maybe 2008 SmackDown, 2009 SmackDown, you've seen this match before. Only Big Show has gotten worse and less entertaining. It didn't get me over. I've seen this a million times because I'm watching wrestling so much. It ended with Randy Orton dropping Show with the RKO. He qualifies for the World Cup. I don't really have much else to say about this. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's great. I think it was your run-of-the-mill old man match. Big Show just, he needs to be there to enhance young talent or
he can't move like he used to.
No, but
that's why you had to put him with Orton. Orton is old enough and seasoned enough to still make a good sell of this match. If anybody else, it would have hindered the match with the Big Show because Big Show wouldn't been able to keep up, and no one would have known unless you old enough and seasoned enough to have watched Big Show and seen Big Show. You can kind of work around his good spots. But if you ain't seasoned enough, which is why you couldn't do unless you were going to put Big Show over to get into the tournament match, you couldn't put him with any young talent. Because he would hamper them, unfortunately, in the way that Big Show is older. Big Show doesn't move as well, so you really got to accentuate what he does well, which is good power moves, but he's not as fast anymore, so you got to really be able to sell it, and that comes from being seasoned in the ring, and the only few people that was still left that would be able to do that is Randy Orton.
Truth. I still think they could have had the Big Show lose to Jeff Hardy. You know, like, it didn't need to be Samoa Joe. I know I keep on harping from the beginning.
But why Jeff Hardy? Jeff Hardy is too much of a high flyer, too much movement. It would not have been a good match, though. But if we talking bookings right now, the better booking, even though we both said we don't like the Jeff versus Samoa booking, that was a better booking than Jeff versus Big Show any day.
I think you could have put anybody, you could have had the Big Show lose to anybody, honestly. The Big Show could have lost to Rey Mysterio next week, and it could have been Giant versus Little Man or High Flyer.
But exactly what you just said, though, bro. You've seen that 1,000 times, too. Remember, that's how they always used to pigeonhole bookings back then. I can't remember how many Big Show Rey Mysterio matches I've seen, bro.
So really, it doesn't matter. Essentially, the Big Show being here is not special. It doesn't matter. Randy Orton could have beat anybody.
This was the best. If they wanted to show the Big Show again, that was the best way they can do it. Get him with someone who knows them well enough to make them look good for the time they needed to make it look good. Because Big Show ain't doing long matches no more. So get him with someone who can make it look good for a short time. And then just get the dub or get the win. However they was going to do it. This time they went with a thumb rake to the eyes and then an RKO out of nowhere. Randy Orton win. So basically they should really be calling Crown Jewel World Cup map FUBU 05 jersey and G-Code jeans World Cup because it's just things people love in the 2000s.
It is definitely nostalgia.
That's exactly what that was.
Yeah, man, and I'm giving this usually I enjoy SmackDown. It was kind of a chore for me this week. I'm giving it a C, man. I didn't enjoy it.
Well,
I didn't enjoy it, man. From the beginning on, as you can see, I'm still held up on that. Having Samoa Joe lose like that to Jeff Hardy, to having your main event be Big Show versus Randy Orton, something that we've all seen, that we can go on the network and watch, something that's boring, that's not entertaining, to ending the one night in Milwaukee the way that they did it, to the lame pairing of Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, but having the Miz save that. It didn't do it for me, me personally, in my opinion. I think SmackDown, was a letdown this week, and it was because I expect a lot from SmackDown because we've been getting such great content coming from SmackDown. It's just, I gotta give it a C. They can do better next week with SmackDown 1000.
Bro, I ain't giving it no C. It's not been that A+ I gave it last week, but it was about a B+ on this week. It was a B+.
So you thought it was better than Raw? You thought it was better than Raw then?
No, I gave Raw an A-, didn't I?
B+, A-, that's negligible. So you thought this was even close to Raw?
I thought it was under Raw. Which is why I gave it the B+. It was under Raw. It was not as good as Raw this week.
Right. You gotta take that plus off of it because Raw was fantastic this week and SmackDown was just subpar, in my opinion.
Bro, like I said what I said. SmackDown wasn't as good as giving the grade that I gave it because the first match, because if they didn't start off with that Becky versus Charlotte and it was as good as it was, then yeah, you're right. I would probably give it a C. But at least that match was so good, it made me at least stay tuned to Raw or SmackDown to see what was going on. But like I said, next week SD 1000 should be it, man. I'm telling you, I'm excited for everything they're going to do. They got some video packages coming up to throw you some old school stuff. I'm really looking forward to what they're going to show from when SmackDown used to be on Thursday nights on the UPN network. So I'm actually excited for next week. This week was kind of not as good as previous weeks. It wasn't as good as Raw was this week, and typically it's always the better main show. Blue Brand has been firing on all cylinders besides this time. So listeners, that is our review of this week. We gave you a little bit extra with Super Showdown because we were supposed to do its own review show, but we had life to deal with. So going forward, we're going to try to always give you a preview and a review show of all pay-per-views. So once again, this is the end of No Jobbers Allowed, episode 4, and it's your boy Big Ish, and always with me is who?
It's your guy Irwin, and we out.
We out. Listen to this music.